Good morning, Carnage fam. This is Andrew here with a video on pumpkin farming. I ended last week with only 5 pumpkins. I worked really hard and I got to 153 pumpkins this week. I'll be honest, I'm disappointed with that number. I felt like I could have done a lot better, but I'm just telling you that to give you some inspiration and some motivation. You can increase your pumpkin count with just a few simple ideas. So let me try to share these ideas with you if I can. If you only got 2 pumpkins, you can do something about that. So Jabberwocky, this video is for you. I know the quality ain't that great. I'm not a video editor. I used to be a math teacher before I quit my job to go panhandle in Berlin. So this is the best quality that I can give you right now. If anybody wants to help out, comment, DM, but this is what I can do for now. Anyway, on to the info. If you have 1 pumpkin, you actually have 4 seeds. Make sure you can turn that pumpkin into seeds, learn how to do that. But then once you have those 4 seeds, assuming you know how to farm, you can plant those 4 seeds, get 4 more pumpkins, turn each of those 4 pumpkins into 4 seeds. So now you'll have 16 seeds to plant. If you take those 16 pumpkins that you get from those 16 seeds, you see, you can turn it into 64. So the first thing I'm trying to show you is that with farming, you don't need a lot to start. 1 will turn into 64 with 3 progressions. So if you had 1 or 2, would you have been happy with 64? I think so. So let's take some baby steps to get there. But I will say, if you like this strategy, the nice thing is it will let you take the next level, because just fitting 1 more generation in will get you to 256. And once you're at 256 planted pumpkins in the ground, you're not going to be able to gather them all by yourself. So we can kind of stop here with it. But yeah, can you hit 1K pumpkins if you get your farm in and you're efficient? I think so. And one of these days I'm going to do it. I'm going to hit 1K pumpkins, but you don't got to worry about that for now. Let's do double digits, triple digits if you were at double digits. Can you do that? Yes. Just look at these numbers. So if we focus on farming, that will get us the pumpkins that we need. So you want pumpkins, get better at farming. If you did not farm last time, it's because I think you didn't know how to farm. Anybody that knew how to farm, I think went for farming, unless they're really good at PvP or hunting in the sewers. If you're a noob and you're watching this video and you only got 2 pumpkins, probably not you. So let's go the farming route. What do you need for farming? You need dirt. You need to take that dirt and use a hoe on it. Hoes you can get from a crafting table. You can use wood or stone. I will say, as much as I'm trying to help out the noobs, I think acquiring a crafting table and a hoe is a little bit beneath the level of this video. So go watch something else and then come back here once you feel comfortable with that process. So dirt is easy to acquire. A hoe is easy to acquire because then you turn the dirt into farmland. But then in order to maximize your growth rates for your pumpkins, you will need water within a distance of that farmland to turn it into hydrated farmland. And that is a term that I will be using a bunch in this video. Hydrated farmland is very important, so make sure you understand exactly what I mean by that. I'm going to circle water because I want to acknowledge that it is more difficult to acquire than the dirt in the hoe. We'll come back to that later. Let's just assume for now that you figure out how to get your water source and you know what to do with the dirt in the hoe. The other thing you need is light. As we discussed, you are not going to put that thing above ground because it will be found. You're going to put it underground, which means you're going to light it with torches. But we get 64 of those things, so you're all good. You don't need to worry about really any of your materials. Oh, and then by the way, you're going to have seeds because just about everybody had seeds yesterday. I think 1,000 players had at least 1 pumpkin. Just about everybody had seeds. So all of these things will be easy to acquire except the water, and maybe that'll be the subject of another video, but I will be honest, you're probably getting into some trade secrets there when you're asking me about water stuff. So may not be so willing to share all of that, but farming basics, I got you. Okay, so now that you get all these materials, how do you set up the farm? I think the most important thing to realize is that your farmland will only become hydrated if it is within 4 blocks of water. And there's a huge difference between farmland and hydrated farmland. So you can take dirt and you can hoe it, but if it's not within water, it won't turn to this darker brown color, which indicates that it has been hydrated. And so you see that this creates a 9 by 9 block of available hydrated farmland that you could use. Now, the torch setup, that's also important. You need to make sure you have a light level of 9. A bunch of different ways to set up torches with this. I think that maybe you just want to put like 2 on each wall, something like that. And then, I mean, again, I have my own particular torch setup, but it's because I have my own particular layout for this. Don't know that I'm going to share that in this video, but you know, make sure your torches cover the entire area of the farmland. If you have a dark spot right here, it's not going to grow. So light level of 9, if you press F3, you can see what the light level is at the block that you're in. So before you plant any pumpkins on your farmland, just walk around and make sure that everything's covered with a light level of 9. If it isn't, put a torch down. So in review, we have talked about 1, making sure that you know that farming is the way to go. You're just not going to keep up with farming unless you got, you know, a ticket gang, or I mean, even the ticket gangs aren't going to keep up with farming. Like, farming is the way to go. All right. So next thing is you got to have farming basics, because even if you know that you need to farm, you need to know how to farm after that. But I think a lot of you guys did make it to this level, but you're still watching this video because you didn't get this progression that I was talking about. Maybe you got from 1 to 4 to 16. And you said, man, like it took forever for my pumpkins to grow. It took them like 45 minutes in between each generation. So I'm sitting there, you know, waiting to get more seeds, and it didn't work. So you're scamming me, Andrew. What the heck? Is this ops? Is this you know, psyops here? What are you doing? Just, there's another factor to consider. And I gotta say, this factor is something that a lot of the Minecraft pros may have neglected to see. So if you've made it this far in the video and you're not a noob, this part's for you. If you are a noob, just recognize I'm giving you something here. So if your pumpkin count drastically improves, it is because of this thing that I'm about to say right here. And I hope you share the wealth with me a little bit, like send me some pumpkins. You know, if you go from 2 to 200, certainly you can send your boy 1 or 2. And I will say what I'm going to do with that is I'm not going to dump it. I want to create like some kind of fund where I do fun giveaways for, you know, all the crazy stuff that I do, which is a lot. So, you know, I know it's a lot to keep up with Jabberwocky. I'm just having fun though. So if you guys want to send some pumpkins my way to support the fun that I'm trying to have, do it. If you want to hold on to your pumpkins, fine. Just, you know, when you give, more comes back. Just want to throw that out there. Anyway, all right, so 45 minutes between each generation is what a lot of you guys were getting. So that's why you only got 2 generations in. But if you can cut that down to 30 minutes, you can get in 3 generations, which will get you to 64. If you can cut that down to 20 or 15 minutes, you will get plenty of pumpkins in the ground to the point where you will realize I don't have time to stop and plant anymore because I'm spending literally every second just walking down my rows and harvesting pumpkins. So if you can get 5 generations of growth in, you will have 100 pumpkins at least in the ground, and good luck keeping up with 100 pumpkins that are all the way sprouted. And I mean, 1K is possible. We'll just say that. Next week. All right. Gotta hide my farm better. I am gonna find you, whoever came from my farm, Liam Neeson's for the rest of your life. That's all I gotta say. Liam Neeson's. How do you plant each particular pumpkin so that way it grows efficiently, so that way you cut this generation time down, so that way you fit in more generations, so that way you get more pumpkins. Don't watch YouTube. That's probably the first step. Those guys are playing Minecraft. We're playing Carnage. Carnage has a time limit. So when they say, place your pumpkins like this, so that way you have lots of room to plot them, they didn't read the actual mechanics of the game that say that if you plant your pumpkins like this, they won't grow as fast. And so what do the mechanics of the game actually say? They say that your growth rate is affected by the amount of hydrated farmland that is adjacent to your pumpkin. So if you want to maximize your growth rate, you maximize the amount of adjacent farmland. So if you put your water right here, you're cutting off 3 blocks of adjacent farmland. And this pumpkin will grow a lot slower than this one. Again, you cannot put your pumpkins like this because now you have 4 spots of hydrated farmland that are taken up by pumpkins. So not going to grow as fast. The other thing it says is that you can place them in rows without taking that penalty. Now, for me though, I'm not sure about the rows, just because whenever a pumpkin grows and then it plops, you'll have a pumpkin here. And if you notice, it doesn't turn into farmland. It turns into dirt again. So you have to re-hoe that area. So I'm kind of torn whether or not this is the best setup or this is the best setup, but let's just keep it simple. This one will let you fit in plenty of pumpkins and lots of room to grow with no penalty for there being not enough farmland around it. It says in the fine print that if you have the pumpkins arranged in rows, you do not get this penalty for not having only farmland around it. If you think about it, you can't put your pumpkin right here because even though this one is 4 blocks away from water, this one is not, and you need that to be hydrated. So there's no point in arranging your pumpkins in 2 rows. 1 row like this is all you need. And then let's change this a bit, just because pumpkins come in groups of 4. So this is the setup that you could create from 1 pumpkin. Let's say you put a torch here and you put a torch there. 1 pumpkin, 12 dirt blocks, 4 plants. You will get double-digit pumpkins if you do that. If you had 2 pumpkins, you double this out. I mean, just imagine, right? So can 1 pumpkin turn into 64 pretty easily? Yes. All you need to do is get a safe spot underground with some water that flows in front like this. That is might be the subject of the next video. We'll see how generous you guys are with pumpkins first. You know, I don't want to be giving out stuff for free and inflating the pumpkin count too much here. I will be honest, part of the reason I'm doing this video is because I know you guys are gonna get some pumpkins from this, but like, I don't know that, you know, the pumpkin count is going to hugely inflate from the actions of the people that watch this video. So if you are willing to click on a video with my dumb face on it, I feel like you've earned this. So I might keep it going next week too. So yeah, once you get those 4 seeds up, or those 4 plants in, you get 4 pumpkins, you turn those into 4 seeds. You just plant those 16 all along this way. Maybe you want to double it up on the other side. I mean, organizing a scaled pumpkin farm is outside of the scope of this video. Just wanted to show you how to get started there. So hope you enjoyed it. You know, do all the liking, smash the subscribe button, all that stuff, you know, but really just send me pumpkins and help out your friends. And Jabberwocky, see you on Green Server in next week, sir. Adios.